Are we on? Yeah. Yeri Velara crashed her car when she was 18. Take one, action. I would like to thank the Academy for this award and my fans. What's up, you guys? Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yeri Velara. I hope you guys are all doing amazing at home. Today I'm going to be filming a quick little story time. So when I was 18, I crashed into a restaurant. It's a really embarrassing story. But a few days ago on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me right now. So anyways, on Instagram, I posted a show me a picture of little option. I'm not too sure what it's called. And you guys asked for so many different pictures. I feel like it was a moment where you guys really got to know me because I am sometimes really private about my life. Like, I'm a public figure, but I know how to keep my life private. And one of you guys asked me for the picture of my first car. And literally the picture that I shared is the only picture I have. I think I had my first car for about a month. You guys will soon find out why in this video. So yeah, a lot of you guys were laughing and direct messaging me from the shocking picture I shared. Some of you guys thought I was like joking, that I like Googled an image from like the internet and just kind of put it on there to be funny. Well, no, that's actually my car and an accident I had. So I later thought, what if I share this story? And I gave you guys an option as well to you know, vote if you want to hear this little story time for today's video. And it was, I think, 96% of my following who wanted to know the story. So you guys already know that I'm here to please you guys. So I'm going to share the story of when I crashed into a restaurant. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna give a really quick run through of who I was as a teenager. So I didn't really appreciate my teen years because I'm a little girl at heart, and I hated, you know, going through puberty. I hated becoming a teen and an adult. Like, the idea of aging really scared me for some reason as a kid, because I loved being a kid. I loved playing. I loved my imagination. I loved living in like my own little bubble. So, you know, my teens kind of popped me out of that bubble, and I realized that I had to grow up. Unfortunately, Peter Pan didn't come for me. Why is this story relevant? Oh, okay, so I didn't want to learn how to drive. I, you know, felt like if I learned how to drive, I was eventually gonna have to be adulting and, you know, be responsible, and I didn't want to take my driver's test. I didn't want to do like adult things that people, you know, are so anxious to do. I was always very like self-aware, and I was like, no, like, I'm gonna lose my childhood, like the best moments of life, because I feel like, I don't know, children are just so happy and they don't have to worry about the world. So long story short, I turned 18, I applied for a license, I took the written test, passed, and I was in the process of taking the driver's test. But for some reason I was kind of like holding it off. But I had my permit, so I thought that was enough. Like, I was like, oh, with my permit, ya tengo licencia de Dios. I think I've told you guys before that in high school I had a job. Like, I was a full-time student in high school, and I had a part-time job after school at El Pollo Loco. I saved up for a car, and I was like, okay, so after high school I'm gonna go to college and, you know, start being really independent. I saved up for a car. I didn't have credit, so I couldn't go and take a car out of the dealership. I saved up $4,000, I believe, my senior year for a car, and my dad ended up finding one at like a dealership, kind of like when you go. He went to LA and he bought the car off La Subasta, I think it's called La Subasta. So I ended up getting my car like as soon as I graduated. I thought I was the coolest teenager because it was a Mercedes. It was so nice and taken care of from the inside. The engine, everything worked really well. And it was also a convertible. So I was like, first car, this is like amazing. So many good things are coming for me. And I had like all these ideas in the back of my head. Like I was okay, so I'm gonna find another job. I'm going to go to college and I'm gonna, you know, have the independence of like chasing my dreams and what I really want in life. And what I really wanted was to be famous. So I didn't like sharing my ideas with people, because sometimes I feel like people ruin your ideas, or they kind of like, I don't know, make you insecure about them. But I had all these ideas in the back of my head, and now I had a car to, you know, drive and go and chase the world in my, you know, immature head. So there you guys go. There's a little summary of who I was, how I got my car, and where my headspace was at in that year and in that month. So now I'm gonna share with you guys the accident, the exciting part. So the morning of the accident, I woke up around 7. I dropped my little sister off at school, Luna, and I picked up my cousin Dora and Cielo. They were my partners in crime during that era. And I remember that I was trying to flex my car, and I was trying to flex the idea of me becoming an adult and independent. So I picked them up and I was like, let's go eat. Like, let's go eat at a restaurant. For some reason, I thought that was so grown up and like so cool to do. So we're in the car, right, about to go have breakfast at Los Corrales. And one thing about me is I have horrible eye vision. Like, I wear glasses or I put on contacts, and if I don't have my glasses or my contacts, I really can't see. I'm nearsighted. I can see perfectly up close, but from a distance, everything is a blur. To top it off, I wasn't driving with my glasses, I was driving with sunglasses. It was double the lack of vision. I couldn't see from far away, and I had shades on. So I was driving around like that during the morning, and I didn't think it was a big deal because, I don't know, estaba protegida por Dios, because now that I think about it, if I were to drive somewhere without my contacts, I would probably crash by the time I get to the stop sign because I can't see. So I don't really know how I was managing to get around like Coachella, because I didn't have any vision with me while I was driving. We get to the restaurant. This was around 9 a.m. and I remember that there was really no cars in the parking lot because it was really early and they didn't actually open the restaurant till 10 a.m. I was getting closer to the window in my car. So in my car, my cousin Dora was in shotgun and my cousin Cielo was in the back. And then we started asking each other, is it open? And I was like, I don't know, let me see. So then I start approaching the window doors, like the entrance, and on there was like their schedule, their hours. So then this was me. It all happened so fast. I was driving and I couldn't really see. So I was like, let me see if it's open. And I was getting really close to the window, and because I was so concentrated in trying to see if the window was open, I accidentally hit the sidewalk. And when I hit the sidewalk, I was so concentrated that I didn't even realize I did that. My cousin in that moment, she yelled, she goes, ah! So her yell and then me being so concentrated scared me. Like it happened so fast. So I remember she yells and then instantly, I'm the type of person, I get scared so easily. And it's just, that's part of me. Even to this day, if someone does that, like sees me in public and kind of goes behind me and scares me, I will yell, I will jump. For a second, I'll be a little bit blocked. So when I hit the sidewalk, I get scared and then immediately, like I'm like, ah! And when that happens, like I press on the gas instead of pressing on the brake, because I wasn't used to kind of like determining which one was the gas, which one was the brake, because I had been driving for a few weeks. So in that moment, like we go flying into the restaurant. Like it's funny now, but it was very sad and depressive when it happened. We go flying into the restaurant, like in a second, all I feel is like the windows and the doors like shattering on my car. And to top it off, you guys, before we started driving, because it was summer, we wanted to make the Mercedes convertible, and for some reason like the button wasn't working. So if you think about it, God was looking out, because if we would have had the roof off, like the window and the broken glass would have fell on top of us. So then out of nowhere, we're just inside the restaurant, and I start looking around, and like me and my cousin are shocked because moments before that we were like, ooh, summer, senior year, have a car. Like we were like dancing and blasting music because we thought we were so grown up. So from that energy to like not knowing what happened, and like not knowing the trouble that we had just like gotten into. Well, mainly me, because I was the one that was responsible for the accident. I was the one driving, it was my car. So we just like look around, and then you can hear the workers of the restaurant. They were like preparing like para abrir and all of that. You can hear them like, las niñas, because like we were little girls. Ayúden a sacarlas, like to help us get out of the vehicle. And then all I hear was like people outside the restaurant saying like, oh my God, call 911. And we were able to open the doors and got out, and I was just like in my little dress with my little sunglasses and my little bag, like, because I just could not believe that just happened. Like it was crazy. Like it almost felt like a nightmare. Like I was like, what am I doing here? Like how did this happen? And I was like, fue el diablo, like, because I didn't know who to blame. I didn't understand what was happening. So then I was kind of shocked a little bit. And out of nowhere, like the police started arriving, the firefighters started arriving, and the owner of the restaurant arrives. So I didn't really know what to do. I was still like really young. I didn't know how to defend myself. There was nothing but like adults and like law enforcement workers. So I ended up calling my tío Liki, may he rest in peace, because he was always my hero. Like whenever I felt like I was gonna get into trouble or I needed support, he was the first person I would think of, because I knew he wasn't gonna yell at me, he wasn't gonna hit me, he wasn't gonna get me in trouble, he was gonna, try to find a solution to the problem. So I call him and I was like, tío, and he was like, ¿qué pasó? And I was like, choqué los corrales, because that was like our spot. That's where we would always go eat. And he was like, he couldn't believe it, especially because I was with his daughters, Dora and Cielo. So he was like, ay, les caigo en cinco. And then he arrives, he talks to the owner. My car is taken away, gets pounded because I was driving with a permit and not a license. The police didn't give me a ticket. He was really nice. I think he felt bad. He was like, poor little girl. She doesn't know how to drive, and she's over here driving. The police was really nice. He didn't really do anything to me. And then I was like doing the walk of shame, because people started taking pictures of my car inside the restaurant. Because not only did I crash inside a restaurant, that restaurant was really famous because they sold really good food, like Sinaloense food. Everyone would go eat there. So people created my accident into a meme, and it started passing around like the entire Coachella Valley. And I just didn't want people to know that it was me, especially because I wanted to be famous. So I was like, this is gonna ruin my reputation. And here I am a few years later telling the story to you guys like it's nothing. So I got really embarrassed. My uncle dropped me off at my house and I had to explain to my parents, to my dad what happened. I lost $4,000 because my car was totaled, and I had to start all over. Like, all my savings went to the trash, and I just didn't really know why I was suffering this or why I was being punished, because in those moments I was like, I'm being punished. Like, this is right after high school. Like, I had these plans. I worked my entire senior year for a car, blah, 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 blah. So then I ended up having to buy like another car that was worth, I think it was like $1,000. My dad also got it from La Subasta, and it was like a really old like car que ya no servía, and it would like when I would drive. So I definitely learned my lesson. I ended up going and I got my license. I was really careful when I drove. I never drove without glasses, without contacts. It was a huge learning experience for me. And yeah, I was depressed for a few months because I just felt really ashamed of myself and embarrassed, and more because people started saying like, oh, it was Claribel, the one that crashed into Los Corrales. And I remember that the guy that I was talking to around that time, he kind of was like embarrassed that he was like talking to me because I was the one that crashed into the restaurant. So there you guys go. You guys have the little story time of how I crashed into a restaurant when I was 18, and all the, you know, how I was feeling and the whole experience. I definitely learned my lesson. Teenagers out there, make sure you guys only get behind a wheel if you are aware of what you're doing, you have your permit, you are on the verge of getting your license. And be careful. If you have bad eye vision, make sure you're always wearing your glasses or your contacts. And after that, I've never been in a car accident, you guys, so I am a very responsible driver now. I don't like driving, it's not really my thing, but I manage. So yeah, now that a few years have passed, I feel like the lesson God, the universe, is trying to teach me is that I shouldn't have been driving without vision, one, without my license, because I was driving with just a permit, and that driving isn't a joke. You know, you can risk your life and the life of others, and it's a huge responsibility. So I definitely, you know, embodied the lessons that God was trying to teach me. I'm blessed that nothing happened to me physically, nothing happened to my cousins, nothing happened to the people inside the restaurant, because imagine if the restaurant would have been open, you guys. I would have like taken people with me. So luckily it was closed. No one got hurt. And it could have been way worse. So I am grateful that it was a lesson and that I'm here now, able to share it with you guys and make fun of it in a way. That is it for this video, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this quick little story time. I promise more videos are coming. Y para mi gente que ve mis videos en español, yo sé que los lunes normalmente les publico en español, pero lo que sucedió es fui a Mexicali este fin de semana y los planes de mi vlog se cambiaron más porque iba de invitada, así que no pude grabar mucho y dije, este video se lo prometí el lunes, pero me sentí más cómoda platicándolo en inglés. Así que nada, pendientes porque aún grabo videos en español, no se me asusten. And well, that is it for today, you guys. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.